Being a simp is probably one of the hottest things you can do as a man.
I think in 2025, men should be men again.
If that man has lost interest, he's not giving you princess treatment, he's literally not like obsessed with you like he used to.
Am I the only one that is just so done with dating? I am so done with it. I'm not even mad.
I don't think these women are looking for boyfriends. It really sounds like they want a pet.
If men want to be in their feminine era, that's fine. Do your thing. Just know I'm not fucking chasing you.
If that man is not obsessed with you, you are a placeholder, sis. I said what I said.
It's wild that I even have to explain why women will never pursue.
The idea of chasing is a turn-off for most men. Why bother chasing when she's running away? Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
Men want to be treated like women. No, they want to be able to say that they've exploited you emotionally, physically, and financially at no expense of their own. It's about being able to brag to other men that they were able to have unfettered access to you at zero cost, zero effort, not even having to leave their bedroom, being able to brag about that performance of misogyny to all the other little boys who use that type of behavior as a way to establish their worth.
What are you talking about?
I know guys love to be the new and they don't want to chase, but you have to chase.
Do men chase you?
I don't really answer DMs. I don't give them the chance.
Okay, but you want them to chase you, but you're not going to answer them.
Yeah, keep going. One day I will.
One day you will.
Yeah, when you're deserving.
This is just one of these women that lives in alternate realities. But a wise man once said, in order to be chased, you have to be able to run.
The worst thing that you can do is finally find a good guy and then get comfortable with all of the great things he's doing for you. You don't show appreciation. And it is so easy to make a man feel appreciated because they literally never get compliments. I mean, you can compliment him on the most random thing. Like, you could tell him, I like your neck. And that would last him a year. Trust me.
I'm not sure who out there needs to hear this, but if he wants you, he's gonna come get you. Men are obsessed with chasing, and they're gonna chase you if they want you. If they don't want you and they're not chasing you, move on. Literally, you are magic. You are the divine feminine, and there is someone out there waiting. So stop wasting your energy on someone that's not putting his energy into getting you.
Sometimes I wonder where they even get this kind of advice from. Like, do they think men are sitting around obsessing over chasing women all day? Because honestly, it's quite the opposite. Most men are focused on their own lives, careers, hobbies, goals, and aren't out here desperately trying to win someone over. If anything, a lot of guys are stepping back altogether, especially with how things are now. Chasing someone who doesn't even seem interested? Yeah, that's a hard pass for most men these days. It's funny though, because some people really believe that men are just programmed to chase no matter what. But that's not how it works. Men aren't going to waste their time and energy. At the end of the day, men want to feel wanted too. They're human, not just providers or pursuers. If someone thinks the key to a man's attention is playing hard to get or sitting on some imaginary pedestal, they're going to be waiting a long time.
Someone please tell me, what is the mental illness called for only liking boys who don't like you? Or what? If a man like me too much, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I get it. But if a boy don't like me, I'll be like, that's my husband. That's my husband.
You need help.
If you want to date and you never want to get your heart broken or you're scared to, just date simps. They'll literally obsess over you. You're pretty much their whole world, and they'll be too busy attending you than going out and cheating. And why not date the men that really want you? Like, why are you going to deal with a bad boy that's going to probably mess around, confuse you, and just treat you bad? So advice of the day, only date simps.
Bad advice. Women end up cheating on simps because they're too predictable and get boring. Being a simp sucks when you want her and she doesn't want you the way you want her, but they keep you around. The problem is when a man feels much more for a woman than she feels for him. Simping is only appropriate when women reciprocate it. Women really be saying this shit with their whole chest. and go for completely the opposite.
The men, because before it used to be men are hunters.
Yeah.
Now it really feels like men want to be hunted. Men want women to chase them. You know, and there's nothing wrong with them feeling like they're the prize.
Right.
But it's like, what happened to you guys actually pursuing women? You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like, yo, I want to take you out on a date. Planning the date, following through with the date, then a follow-up after the date. Let's have a conversation. Let's plan for another one. Rather than, man, I took you on a date. I didn't pay $300, $400 for their meal. What's up? It's like, who told you to pay for that? You know what kind of woman I am anyways. Even though I can afford my own $300, $400 date.
Right.
But, yo, you know what's coming with it, so be prepared.
You just have to love a woman's ability to make things more complicated than they need to be, especially when what men want is actually really simple. First of all, men don't want to be chased, pursued, or hunted. Most men would rather things be mutual and straightforward. The truth is, a lot of men are just done putting in effort because there's such a lack of appreciation and reciprocation. Why go out of your way for someone who acts like your effort is expected, but not valued? The fact that some women genuinely believe they're the only ones who should be catered to speaks volumes about where things stand today. Nowadays, when men take women on dates, many of these women have a roster lined up. So why would any man feel motivated to give his all when he's just another option in a rotation? It makes perfect sense that men are now reserving their kindness, attention, and effort for women who've earned it, instead of just handing it out to anyone who expects it.
No, because like male attention is literally the least flattering thing ever. And it's also just so meaningless because like guys will give attention to literally anything with a pulse and a hole.
I think in 2025, men should be men again.
Okay, but what actually constitutes a man? There's so much debate over what is a woman, but there is very little discussion on what actually makes a man a man.
Because they've turned into divas.
And whose fault would that be? Precisely. Couldn't possibly be those individuals that have been raging for years, saying that what men do is unacceptable and that they need to change. But when they do, well, then that's a problem and they want real men back.
They want to be the women in the relationship.
And what does that mean? The one that gets spoiled in the relationship, supposedly? That gets pampered? That gets valued? Oh, I can't imagine why a man would want to experience any of those things. Or is that just for women? So much for equality, right?
They said, but you didn't text me first. I'm sorry, what, princess?
Right. So if wanting communication in a relationship makes someone a princess, I wonder what it makes that person that is demanding and overcritical in a relationship.
Men should be men again, or counteroffer. I'll stay in my soft era, hold on to my peace, and you can go kick it somewhere else. In 2025, pay no mind to annoying attention seekers who only disparage men. Are women going to be women again? Not all women, but a large majority of modern women aren't worthy of a relationship. But if I say it's 2025, I think women should be women again. Where is my sandwich? I'll get dragged on all socials. You can't demand equality and cherry-pick the bits you like. Women have fought for decades wanting to change old-fashioned gender roles. Now that it's working against them, they want men to go back to how they were. But it's not going to happen because men have adapted. What's happening now is that many women are starting to miss how men were back then. Planning dates, pursuing them, and putting in all the effort to win their attention and affection. Many modern women are feeling the effects of this shift. They want men to pursue them like before, but the rules of the game have changed. Men are no longer willing to do all the work while being treated as disposable or interchangeable. This isn't to say that men don't want to put in effort. They do. But they're reserving that energy for women who value it, who show genuine interest. Men have adapted to a world where traditional roles have been redefined, and now they're playing by the new rules of the game, and women hate it.
Am I the only one that is just so done with dating? I am so done with it. I'm not even mad. I'm just apathetic. I just don't care anymore. Like, I've had like 3 or 4 dates lined up. I canceled every single one. For no reason. I just didn't feel like going. I'm tired. Last guy that I went out on a date with, he literally told me that he had to temporarily relocate to California for his job. That was a lie. Imagine someone not liking you so much that they have to make up a move that... I'm done.
Gen Z men are boring. Men are boring. You're lazy. You're boring. You don't have hobbies. You're unambitious. You don't know how to talk to women. You're not respectful. You're not emotionally vulnerable. You're not emotionally mature. You don't have a healthy relationship with your family. And anytime somebody comes to you and wants to be vulnerable with you because you so desperately asked for that multiple times, but you don't really want it, you start crying. You are little bitches, I swear.
Well, first of all, calm down. Second of all, most of the time, you attract what you are. How about taking accountability for the men that you chose and settled for? For a lot of women, it's easier to point the finger and blame men for their problems. But the truth is, many of them have a pattern of choosing the same types of men over and over again. They ignore the red flags, go after the emotionally unavailable types, and then act surprised when it doesn't work out. Now look at her, bitter and angry at all men because she got her feelings hurt. But let's be real, that bitterness isn't about men as a whole. It's about the poor choices she made and the lack of accountability for her own actions. Instead of reflecting on why she keeps ending up in the same situations, it's easier to blame men and label them all as the problem. It's a tough pill to swallow, but sometimes the common denominator in all those failed relationships is you.
I'm looking to date a simp. You heard me right. The word simp has changed in the past couple years. This definition doesn't even apply. Simp is a man who is desperate for attention and affection. That's not really how it's used anymore. Nowadays, any type of gentlemanly behavior is simping. A man buys his wife flowers. A loser on the internet calls him a simp. A man pays for a first date. A bunch of losers call him a simp. I think we should change the definition of a simp to just a gentleman and a man who still believes in romance and treating women right. I guess what I'm trying to say is,
I think a simp sounds great. A lot of people were coming in the comments and saying, what kind of guy is going to date a woman who's seeing other men? Your husband did that? Oh, he must be a simp. Listen, simps sound like the most respectful, caring, considerate people who look at women like they're human beings and not property. I came up with an acronym for what I think best describes what a simp really is. S stands for solid. This is a solid guy. I stands for takes initiative to make you happy. M stands for he says what he means and he means what he says. And P, he brings women in his life peace. God, please send me my simp.
Many women now are claiming that they love simps, but let's be real. That's a lie. The key word here is now. They're now claiming it, meaning simps weren't even an option before. Back then, these same women overlooked simps, rolled their eyes at them. Truthfully, simps are one of the main reasons why so many women feel entitled today. Simps have spent years putting women on pedestals, showering them with attention, compliments and gifts without requiring any effort or reciprocation in return. They've created a dynamic where some women don't feel the need to bring anything to the table because they've been spoiled by men who give and give while expecting nothing back. No man should ever be a simp. A man with self-respect and self-control cannot be controlled by anyone.
This is one of the things that I learned because I f***ed this up so much. For a man to feel fully in his power and in his masculine, if that is his power zone, the things that women can do to mess that up is you can criticize your man, you can control your man or try to control him, or you can close down your heart. If a man can't feel her softness, can't feel her vulnerability, no attraction. And if a woman tries to control her man, because most men want to feel the ability to have total freedom, not good. And if a man feels criticized, if you're constantly trying to make him your project and this is what's wrong and let me make you better, ain't gonna do good.
Being that you're recently divorced at 42 with 3 kids, how soon would you want another man to meet them?
Okay, so I did have a rebound relationship with a 26-year-old for 6 months. That was amazing.
What was so amazing about it, though?
I mean, all the things.
Did he take you out to dinners and dates?
Yes, like literally one night we were going out to dinner. My backyard, like leading to the driveway, was all gravel, and I had Python Louboutins on, and he just scooped me up, carried me to the car because he didn't want me to ruin my shoes. Like, I'd never had that in my life before, ever.
And would you say that he made you feel young again in that relationship?
Yes. And he was like an old soul, so it was good. We balanced each other out, but yeah, it like brought me back to life. And yes, behind closed doors. Yep.
You liked the way he blew your back out then?
Oh,
yeah. So did you end up cutting it off, or did he?
It was more of like a family thing. The idea of their baby boy dating a single mother with 3 children of a certain age was scandalous.
I think her colleague was suffering from second-hand embarrassment. At this age, you'd think this older woman would be a good example for the younger women, but here she is, doing the same thing some of them are doing, talking about having a rebound and acting like it's something to be proud of. Mind you, this woman was recently divorced, and now she's out here roaming the streets like she's got something to prove. And let's not overlook the fact that she completely dodged the original question. All she's focused on now is chasing pleasure. It's almost like she's trying to mask the pain of her situation with distractions and temporary highs, but it's not fooling anyone. The whole thing just screams desperation. Now, I'm not knocking what she does on her own personal time. She's grown and can live her life however she pleases. But let's call it what it is. This is a hurt, divorced woman trying to relive her 20s again.
I totally understand where men are coming from when they say, oh, well, I don't like how I have to pay for everything, how I'm expected to be, the provider all the time. I don't like how I have to do that. But then I remember that women don't get paid the same amount, and then I remember that women aren't as likely to be considered for high-paying jobs. And I'm like, okay, so what are you doing to fix that so we can even out the playing field so that I can start paying for you? Because in my head, I'm like, you have all these doors open to you, X, Y, and Z, and you can't get a good-paying job? I'm sorry. That sounds like a you problem.
This literally makes no sense. Women aren't getting high-paying jobs because they choose to. Just look at the last 100 years. The majority of women are still choosing low-paying jobs, and that hasn't changed much, despite all the opportunities that have opened up over time. Even in industries where women dominate, like teaching, nursing, or social work, the pay scales are often lower because these fields are traditionally associated with caregiving. Meanwhile, higher-paying fields like engineering, technology, or skilled trades still struggle to attract women, not because they're inaccessible, but because fewer women are choosing to pursue those careers. This isn't to say women don't have the ability or intelligence to thrive in high-paying fields. The issue comes down to choices, whether influenced by personal preferences, societal expectations, or cultural pressures. Many women gravitate toward careers they find fulfilling or align with their interests, even if those careers don't come with a big paycheck.